AI can give us content. I believe that AI is no different than Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It's a productivity tool, but the output is only as good as the input. You need to be able to incorporate AI into every single conversation you have with your teams. That prospects are not asking us to inform them anymore. Prospects are 80% down the road before they even talk to a salesperson. I do have one thing for all leaders. It is a 3-part question. Do you want me to listen? Do you want me to coach? Or do you want me to fix?
Hey, welcome back to the Future of Selling podcast. In part one, Roderick Jefferson shared the powerful story behind his near-death stroke and how it gave him just like a new outlook on life, leadership, and overall his purpose. But today in part two, we're going to shift gears. We're going to be exploring the other side of his impact, how he became known as the godfather of sales enablement. What's Sales Enablement 3.0? What does that really mean? And how is AI transforming the way teams work, how they sell, and how they connect. So let's pick up right where we left off with Roderick Jefferson. Tell me about the other book that you wrote. It's called 3.0, right?
It's Sales Enablement 3.0, and
Yeah.
it is my baby.
Yeah, tell me about that. I mean, are some of the things you just spoke about, is that kind of where these came, that's where you put these in practice? Or just tell me about that, what led you writing it, all those kind of things.
Absolutely. Let's begin with, and I say this humbly, Sales Enablement is my baby. I created the nomenclature about 18 years ago. And little did I know that it was going to become a universally accepted, not only nomenclature, but a line of business in just about every company.
Okay.
I was blessed enough to be one of the founding members of the Sales Enablement Society, which is now the Revenue Enablement Society.
Okay.
And the goal there was to do similar to what has been done on the product market. PMI has done on the project management side.
Yeah.
Nomenclature, titles, tools, templates, all that. And that's our goal on the Sales Enablement and now the Revenue Enablement Society.
Okay.
And so with that being the case, and I chose 3.0 specifically because I believe there have been 3 distinct phases of selling, not just sales enablement, but all the way back to I'm selling you Hoover vacuums, to the next happened right about Y2K where everything shifted.
Yeah.
And then once again, now to me, Sales 3.0 is the future of selling. It's not where we are. It's where we're literally where we are now, but where I saw us going 4 years ago.
Right. So so if you don't mind, give me the 3 phases. What was 1, what was 2, and then maybe dig a little bit deeper into what is 3.
Yeah. So phase 1 was the traveling salesman.
Okay.
That's whether it was snake oil or if, like I said, it was knives, it was encyclopedias. These are folks that were essentially doing hand-to-hand combat out there. And one of the hardest definitions of selling, if you will. And that's what they were doing. They were selling.
Yeah.
Right? As we move forward into that Y2K space,
I remember
that actually shifted where, easy for you to say, right? That's where we moved into a phase where we were all about automation.
Yeah.
Right. That's when Salesforce automation started. We're moving into CRM, and we were really burgeoning on where we sit today with AI, right? And how do we leverage tools and processes and programs and platforms to really be bigger, faster, and stronger, but also to be more productive and work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
That next phase is all about how do we wrap our arms around a new way of doing it. And I don't call this the new, this is the new, because next infers that it's something we can lean on and we've seen before. AI has proven this is new. This is like something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And the analogy I always give is, and I asked the question, Rick, do we still have horses?
Yes.
Serious question. Okay. Now think about, and it's not a trick question. Everyone goes,
I feel like I'm getting pulled in. I'm like, all right, I'm just doing it.
Okay, where's this going? So I always ask that question because you think back to where we went from our mode of transportation being horses to this new motor carriage. And I always say, well, we still have horses. We just utilize them differently now.
Yeah.
right? They're not the primary mode of agriculture and or transportation.
Right.
Well, the same thing's happening right now with AI.
Yeah.
I believe that AI is no different than Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And
Okay.
what I mean is it's a productivity tool, but the output is only as good as the input.
Yeah.
Do I believe that AI is going to kill all jobs? No, I don't. I think in actuality, it's actually creating some jobs as well.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to take everyone's job. I think that the people that don't know how to leverage AI will lose their jobs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you would see AI then as I mean, it's certainly a tool, but also a disruptor.
Oh, no doubt.
Probably
No doubt.
probably both. Okay. So and I know you spend a lot of time speaking about this from a keynote standpoint as well. What are three things that every sales leader should be doing right now with AI? And if they're not doing that, they're like, man, they're absolutely in the dust, getting left behind. I mean, what are those? And you can give me five if you want, but
Yeah, yeah.
three is a great number for me. So
One is if you are not utilizing and leveraging AI every day, you're already behind the curve.
okay.
You are one step towards becoming a dinosaur, and we know what happened to them.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Yep.
Secondly, you need to be able to incorporate AI into every single conversation you have with your teams. And you need to be able to spot check it. That's the reason you need to be using it, right? And thirdly, you need to understand what works at the maturation cycle of one, your company, and third, your prospects and your clients, because it can become shiny syndrome, right? Where,
Yep.
ooh, this is cool. Balloon, squirrel. What happened? No, just because your peers or someone you know is utilizing a specific tool or platform
Yeah.
does not mean it's going to work at your company or that it is the right age and stage of your company to
Right.
be able to service your company. And the final, I'll give you the bonus one. And that is you need to learn how to leverage AI to make both you and your sales folks more human. And that's why I say it's about IQ plus EQ plus AI. And
Yeah.
what this it will teach you and your go to market folks, not just sales folks, but your go to market go to market people on one thing
Yeah.
how to have conversations instead of giving presentations.
Got it. AI comes up often on the podcast, right? And I've had some great answers around AI and how it's impacting the future of sales and things like that. But your answers actually are very specific from my point of view, right? Which I like that, and I think that's great. Now, the first one, utilize and leverage it every day. Okay, I agree with you, and I think most people would go, yeah, that's got to be number one, right? But
Yeah,
like,
but there's more than just Chat GPT, folks.
okay,
Right?
it,
You've really got to broaden your spectrum beyond just Claude, Perplexity,
yeah,
and Chat GPT.
yeah. Okay, so break these down if you will, and maybe you want to start there with kind of that statement, right? There's more than just Chat GPT, but I also want to break down incorporate AI into every conversation with your team. That sounds awesome. Practically, though, what does that look like?
Oh, thanks for asking about that. To
Yeah.
me, I think there are 6 ways to incorporate AI to increase efficiency and productivity,
Okay.
right? And where they are is first and foremost, it's about streamlining lead scoring, right? How do you use AI to do your research up front? Because I think we both agree that prospects are not asking us to inform them anymore. Right?
Do that.
There's so much information out there. That's the last thing. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I read the other day that prospects are 80% down the road before they even talk to a salesperson.
Yeah.
So it's really about doing all of that upfront, the 10K, the 10Q, and then looking at where they are and understanding how to articulate your differentiation around your competitive advantage, your business value, and why you bring that's different. The next piece is the thing that we're doing now, which is automating task management, right? Taking all the data entry and appointments and scheduling and all that and finding a way to create an agent that will do that for you or leverage an agent.
Right.
The next piece is like we talked about real-time analytics. right now, you can't make a statement right today that cannot be checked in a matter of going to one of the GPTs or even going to Google. So you don't get to make things up anymore, because that will kill your credibility right away.
Yeah.
The next piece is, and I'm talking to my leaders now, personalized coaching. And that means understanding your reps' individual strengths and weaknesses from analyzing data again, and no longer being able to peanut butter. And the problem I have there is, and I say this with all humility and from the bottom of my heart, because I've been there before. Most managers don't know how to coach.
Okay.
They really know how to either A, make you a mini me of them,
Right.
right? And they may have sold 30 years ago. Keep that in mind. And the
Right.
second piece is, how do you now share something that is intrinsic to you? And I always use an NBA analogy. Best players ever: Jordan, Bird, Magic, Isaiah, etc. Worst coaches: Bird, Magic, Isaiah, because they could not teach what they did because it was innate and intrinsic to them.
Yeah.
So find a way that works for the individual and then coach them that way. And there's a difference between managing and leading as well.
Yeah.
And we can get into that in a whole other conversation. The next piece is around, how do you leverage AI to effectively make your sales process more efficient? And what I mean by that is finding a way to go back to the baseline of the buyer's journey, and then flipping all of your sales processes, sales motions, let's call it selling motions, so that it now ties back to their buying journey. Do they have buying seasons? Do they have buying committees? How do they buy? When do they buy? Why do they buy?
Yeah.
And when are they at a point where they're at a use it or lose it, where they have to spend that money?
Yeah.
Right. And of course, I'm talking about different segments here.
Yeah.
And the final piece is all about automating, and we forget this part, automating customer communications, right? And that's for your account managers and for your CSMs, your customer support or success managers, excuse
Right.
me,
Yep.
because they don't need to learn how to sell. They
Yeah.
need to learn how and leverage AI so that they can help, and they can now make recommendations so that they don't do the one thing that we all as humans hate. I
Yeah.
don't ever hear from you 90 days before my renewal. You're my best friend always. Now this gives you an
Yeah.
opportunity. You can create the communications that are now really narrowly and laser focused to a given
Yeah.
customer, as opposed to copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and you just change the name.
Yeah. Got it.
Does that help, Rick?
Yeah, no, those are great. Those are great. Wrote each one of them down. So streamline lead scoring, automate task management, real time analytics, personalized coaching. You betcha thread we could go on there if we had time. but
That's a whole other episode by
maybe that's
itself, right
all
there.
right. You just committed to a second interview, so
Absolutely, I got no problem with that at all.
so that's a great thread, and then really leveraging it to make your sales process more efficient, and finally automating for customers, right? Customer success and count, and
Absolutely.
so those are incredible. The other thing you said was what works at the maturation of your company and your customers. Break that,
Yes.
unpack that just a little bit for me. I like
Yeah.
the statement, but I couldn't. I don't know if I could tell you. Oh yeah, that's what he meant.
When you start thinking about the maturation of a company,
Yeah,
when you are in growth phase, what matters to you? It's all about onboarding, because you're bringing in headcount, right? So
yeah,
now I'm focused on, how do I get messaging and positioning correct? How do I make sure it's consistent? How do we put in, guide rails, and also things like, certifications and accreditations to make sure everybody is speaking from the same book, if you will, right? As your company grows, now you're looking at, we're moving towards a big ticket sale. So now you need a different seller. So we always talk about ICP, right? The
yeah.
ideal client profile.
Hmm.
I want to talk something different right now. I want to talk about IEP, the ideal employee profile, because the type of go to market person you bring as your company matures more is a completely different person. You can bring in a less seasoned early on, because it's small, it's quick turnaround.
Yeah,
Now, these are people that have to really have those stories and those case studies down pat to go, you know what? I can't walk into Bank of America with the same case study that I walked into, to AT&T, and then I turn around
Yeah.
and I walk into GM. Doesn't work. These for folks that have been to a couple of picnics and rodeos,
Right.
right? You
Right.
can really tell those stories. And then the final piece is when you grow and you become an enterprise level, because now the sales cycle has extended. You need someone that can squarely focus on what really matters, and that is relationship building,
Yeah.
because they're not going to buy right now. You've got to continually nurture these folks and touch them with something that they can't just get by going to GPT or going and Googling.
Yeah.
Does that help, Rick?
Yeah, no, that helps a ton. That's a great description. And then the last thing you said was learn how to use, and I maybe liked it because I know we don't have a ton of time left. Maybe this is where we get in, drill in a bit. Learn how to leverage AI to be more human, because I think that's what everybody worries about, right? It's just like you said, people are fearful that it's going to take all the jobs and there's going to be nothing left. And I even heard a sales leader the other day say something to the effect of, I can see where the future is going, and I've got to find, basically, I've got to find another path, right, at some point. And I'm like, okay, well, and I see how he gets there. But I like what you're saying. Learn how to leverage AI to be more human. So talk about how that's going to happen. How do you teach people to do that? But also, where's it going?
Yeah, I think where it's going is I will play that same broken record. IQ plus EQ plus AI. And what I mean by that is it requires the human touch to add in what AI can't give. And where I'm really trying to go here is AI can give us content, God, for the next 9,000 years after we're all gone.
Yeah.
It requires a human to still give you context.
Right.
People still buy from humans, right? And I always give an analogy, not even an analogy, but an example of my book, right? I wrote the whole book. I wrote it from my soul. And then once I was done, I dropped it into Claude.ai and I said, please tell me what I've missed.
Right.
I don't want it to write my book. I want it to augment. And do you realize that? Remember that the resource piece that I was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it in my book before I asked Claude that question.
Okay. Got
It
it.
was, and it said outright, you've given them all of the opportunities to learn and to grow and to move forward. Now it's time to give them resources that can help them, whether it be something from American Stroke Society or American Heart Society, or even if you're a caregiver, there's a piece in there as well.
Yeah, got it. Well, I like that. And IQ plus EQ plus AI, right? It's what's needed to make sure that we keep this thing human. Because I do a lot of posting and videos and stuff like that on LinkedIn, just like you. I mean, there's times where I'll drop it in and say, hey, what do you think? But if I rely on it too much, I don't feel like it's me. And so I've
No.
got,
That's why you need the IQ and the EQ
yeah,
to be able to direct the AI tool.
yeah, completely agree. Okay, good deal. Thank you for that, by the way. So you've led enablement at companies like, again, Salesforce and Oracle. You're a consultant now. You've got your own your own business where you're basically going in as a fractional enablement, kind of chief enablement officer or enablement leader. What lessons have you learned from some of those really large scale environments that maybe translate into smaller scaling, sales organizations?
Absolutely. Because I treat them both the same.
Okay.
Enough.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're going to get a consultant or a fractional that can give you experience and also case studies, and to give you video testimonials.
Yeah.
Because especially in today's world, I can get anybody to write anything, or I can go right in ChatGPT and put your name on it, right?
Yeah.
Instead, ask them for video testimonials. And what that says is that's someone that's willing to put their name and their brand on the line
Yeah.
to now validate this person.
Okay.
The other piece that I would say is make sure that before you move forward, understand what their framework looks like. What are the steps they're going to take you through? But more importantly, what does success look like? What are the outcomes? And then that way you can both work conjointly and collaboratively
Yeah.
to reverse engineer that piece.
Okay. Got it. Well, so we're coming up on for a lot of companies anyway, not all companies, but for a lot of companies, we're kind of approaching this sales kickoff season, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you were, and I'm sure you've got a ton of them lined up. As
I still got time on the calendar, though. Right? Come on now, don't put me in a box.
No, hey, if anybody is looking for somebody, here you go.
Right, be looking for a keynote speaker. I know a guy.
What would what if you were designing the perfect sales kickoff, right, for 2026?
Mm-hmm.
What would that look like?
It would be kind of three components.
Okay.
It would be one, I call it edutaining, right?
Yep.
A mix of education and entertainment, because you've got short attention spans, especially with go-to-market folks. So make sure that it's structured, but make sure that there's enough time for networking. And I mean for people to get to know each other. Because if you're going to pull everybody together, especially globally, they know each other by social media. They may have been on Zoom. Give them a chance to get to know each other. Swap stories.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I'm working on this. Oh, yeah, I know so-and-so. Let me introduce you to them because they did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's one piece.
Yeah.
The other piece is to make sure that it is what I call knowledge bites. And that is things that can be tackled and taken in right now and go put into practical application. Don't hold people for 8 hours hostage over PowerPoint fest. Nobody has time for that.
Yeah.
Make it engaging, make it edutaining,
Okay.
and make sure that it's impactful. And then the third piece, and I think which is more important than the event itself, is to always make sure that you have a reinforcement plan. I always look at SKOs or RKOs, however you guys call it, right?
Yep.
As the foundation. It is the floor. It's not the ceiling.
Yeah.
It is what you build upon for the remainder of that year.
Yeah.
So don't roll out anything new or anything foundational in that SKO that one cannot be tracked, cannot be measured, and also cannot be reinforced.
Yeah.
Most importantly, as you are building this SKO or RKO, make sure that enablement is the center point of the owner of and the architect. Bring sales, marketing, product marketing, HR, and sales together, and marketing to the same table.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's communication, collaboration,
Yeah.
and orchestration.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
You're the orchestra master.
Yeah.
Let us conduct.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. You've been on 250 podcasts plus. What's the best question you've ever been asked? Because I want to ask that question.
Ooh, man. I see that's a secret one.
If
I tell you that, then now I have broken trust of the other person. I told them that. This is the first ever, and they're like, don't tell anybody that.
All right.
You know how you guys are as podcasts. You want that exclusive. I'd love to give it to you.
Okay.
But then I've broken trust.
Okay. No, I don't want you to do that. Let me ask it a different way. Is there anything that so it's been a great conversation. I love everything we talked about. You've given some incredible kind of information for folks to walk away with and apply. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you go, hey, Rick, there's this one point. We didn't really talk about it, but I want to make sure that people walk away with this. Anything?
One thing only.
Okay.
For folks that want to move forward, how do they contact me?
Okay. Yeah.
I think that for them, right? And that is, if you want to find my company, you can find me at Roderick Jefferson on LinkedIn. You can also find me at my website, roderickjefferson.com.
Okay.
On Instagram, Roderick_J_associates. And I will give you show notes for all of this to make sure it's easier for your listeners as well. And if you are looking at the need for, an offsite, or you've got a conference, or you've got an SKO coming up, and I've said something today that resonated with you, please reach out. I would love to be able to connect with you and see if we can do something together.
Beautiful. Love that. Yeah, we'll make sure we post all of that in the show notes. And I found you easily on LinkedIn. So if anybody's looking for you, absolutely easy to find. So
thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to let you go in just a second. Let's say this: I'm a sales leader, right? I'm looking to kind of improve my results and upscale my team. From your experience as a sales enablement leader, what are three key takeaways from today's conversation that you would say, hey, think about this, think about that, think about the other.
I think, as I said earlier, I've used the two brain cells already, but
Yeah.
I do have one thing for all leaders, and it is a three-part question
Okay.
that I started using years ago. I use it with my team, with other executives, etc. And that is, as you're having these one-on-ones,
Yep.
irrespective of who you're having with, other than your spouse. Don't use this with your spouse. I'm going to warn you right now. It doesn't go over well.
So now my wife. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
telling me that.
It's a three-part question. Do you want me to listen? Do you want me to coach? Or do you want me to fix? Let me say it again. Do you want me to listen, coach, or fix? And there are two reasons that I believe is one of the best questions that anyone has ever asked me in my entire professional career.
Yeah.
And it's because, one, as leaders, we're natural fixers.
Yeah.
That's how we got to where we are. But most of the time I've realized your people, that's not what they need.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need to just be able to bounce. Does it sound crazy outside of my head? And I've thought this through. Is there another way to better message and position this?
Yeah.
When I ask them if I want them to coach, it's because it's like, hey, you've done this before. You've got an extended network, whatever it may be. Help me on this. And then the third one is, look, I've tried everything I know, almighty one, right?
Right.
Just tell me, how can I do it? Or give me another set of lenses.
Yeah.
And the second reason this is so important is because you are telling those people to tell me as the leader what set of ears I need to listen with. And this is all about you and your time.
Yeah.
So do you want me to listen? Do you want me to coach? Or do you want me to fix?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that question because it positions you to bring value to the team member who trusts you as their leader.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
And it grows an enormous amount of credibility.
Yeah.
For both the leader and for the team member.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Okay, Roderick, thank you, sir, for the time. Thanks for the conversation. I will continue to follow you. I hope you and I can stay connected.
Oh, we definitely will.
And,
Come on, we're two Dallas guys. We got to stay together.
And looking forward to the book. So thanks, man. Appreciate you being here today.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.